Congress, the House of Representatives, voted on the TikTok ban this week. It passed, and now I believe it goes to the Senate. But Chrissy, tell us more.
Yeah, so the House of Representatives passed the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act. The long, it gets longer and longer. So it would potentially ban TikTok nationwide. It got huge. It started trending all over X and TikTok itself, with a lot of content creators putting their opinions to it. So as VT previously reported, I think this was your story, Shane. You're killing it. This piece of legislation would give ByteDance, which is the Chinese-based owned company that owns TikTok, 6 months to divest its ownership of the platform to a U.S. company, or risk having the app banned in the United States. Now, there are roughly 170 million users in the United States for TikTok, which is probably more than half of their users, because it's banned in 5 other countries, including China, India, and Afghanistan. Actually, a fun fact, in 2020, I think India banned it that year, but before they banned it, it had 200 million users in India. So it was massive over there. So now the Chinese-based app does display national security concerns, because obviously ByteDance collects a bunch of our data from users, including IP addresses, location, searches on and off the app, and also monitors facial recognition so that the algorithm can read what we're interested in and continue delivering more of what we want to see. However, so does Meta. So let's not pretend that they're not doing it here. All social media apps that are American-based also do it. Meta trackers are all over the internet, constantly collecting data from us. Threads, for example, which is equivalent to Twitter for Facebook. The app can collect personal data, including browsing history, purchase history, physical addresses. It could even get your info on religion, sexual orientation, pregnancy status, all of these things it can collect. So actually, there's an article, Kelly, that we'll pull up, that Meta plummeted the most that it's been since. It plummeted 4.5% on Tuesday, marking the social media oligarch's lowest closing since last month. Coincidentally, Trump had posted his thoughts on Meta, calling it the enemy of the people. So I found it interesting on that timing. And I wanted to show that an initial bill, which was proposed back in 2020 under the Trump administration, it was actually rescinded from President Biden. It was revoked in 2021. However, now he replaced it and he's for it. So if it does get to his desk, he has said that he will be all for it and sign it into law. So I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Are you guys TikTok users? What do you think? I mean, obviously the House passes a lot of bills, not saying that it's going to go through the Senate, but it is interesting to see how not only President Biden flip-flopping on his thoughts of the potential ban, but what do you guys think as social media users on the government interfering?
Well, so did Trump. Trump flip-flopped as well,
right?
Because Trump brought it up and then Trump took it away, his support. And it's very interesting. Steve Bannon had tweeted out or put on one of the Parler or Truth or one of those that Trump had been bought by Jeff Yass. And then it came out yesterday from the New York Post, Trump considering billionaire TikTok investor Jeff Yass. According to the reports, Jeff Yass is one of the biggest donators, or one of the biggest people, stakeholders in not ByteDance, but TikTok.
Yep.
And he also is a very influential donor to the Republican Party, and he allegedly had threatened to revoke his donations if Republicans voted in support of this bill. And that's why Trump flip-flopped. Steve Bannon calls it out, and then the article comes out today from the New York Post.
You know, this bill is giving Patriot Act vibes,
right?
You know, whenever these people agree, I'm there's something funny here.
When Democrats and Republicans come together in Congress, it's never good.
Okay. I know.
But that's so true.
They're coming together because they figured out another way to either control us, spy on us, or launder money through our tax dollars.
Benjamin Franklin said, those who will give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor the safety.
Right.
People are not going to the underlying factor of this, okay? Take care of your freaking kids. I mean, grab their phone, delete TikTok, and teach them something. Take them for a walk or do something with it.
But the thing about it is that, so I remember having an argument, not an argument, but I think it was on Fox, and I was talking with Himmer, and so the Republican line back then, that was maybe 5 months ago, the Republican line was ban TikTok, and I was like, well, number one, that is where the Zoomers and the Gen Alpha, that is where they are. So if you're telling conservatives or right-leaning people or Republicans to not be there, you're shooting yourself in the foot, right? Do I think that this bill is the right answer? You know, Thomas Massey, you know, did a very impassioned floor speech that was very against this bill, and he had one simple question: if this bill is so simple, why does it have to be 13 pages?
Right.
Why is this bill 13 pages? And so what I think it's about is the government saying, we realize that China is using this to influence, to spy, to do all this other stuff, but we want to be the ones that are doing the influencing.
Exactly.
And we are the ones that want to be doing the spying, which, by the way, look, I don't get too much into the data thing. Like, whether it's Meta, whether it's TikTok, whether it's whatever, everybody's crawling our phone for all of this stuff. And
Yes.
I'm never running for president. So, you know, they know everything about you.
Right.
Because these apps are free, because what they're costing is your time and your focus and your data.
If the app is free, you're the product. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
I used to work for advertising sales, special digital ones, and we knew everything. That's why I don't even give my number at the 7-Eleven reward program, because like they do like some really, really creepy
Crazy
shit
stuff.
that they cross databases, they sell it off here, they sell it off there. Like, I mean, there's no way around it. It's a world that we live in. Like, and anyone that thinks they're not gonna keep crawling around your data and knowing who you are, because the technology's there, you can't take it away.
Yeah, I ask what you guys think, because the language in this bill indicates that Biden, the FBI, and other intelligence agencies, it says in further detail that whatever they find to be a national security threat, whatever app, not just TikTok, it's in general, they can interfere and ban it from the United States if they were to find it a threat.
And you know what? I'm
Which
gonna
is-
go even.
that's the
I'm gonna go
slippery
even
slope
further
right there.
here. Like this, like having an old crappy house and putting paint on it. Like the underlying problem is China. It's the Chinese Communist Party that runs everything. Like, we don't need to end TikTok. We need to end the Communist Chinese Party. That's what it is. Those guys have too much influence. They're buying up Africa.
So then you agree that ByteDance, like with that part of the agreement, that ByteDance should sell to a U.S. company?
I think so. I mean, like TikTok, there's a great article on Substack. TikTok is a Chinese super weapon. Like, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Okay, so
And I agree with that, because they very much influence the youth culture of this country via TikTok. Now, when you look at how TikTok is used in this country compared to other countries, number one, I believe in China, it's not called TikTok there, it's called something else, but they limit the amount of time that you can spend on that app if you're under a certain age. Their algorithm feeds them information about nature, science, math, whatever. Our TikTok algorithm feeds the kids in this country these
Culture.
what is it, the challenges that are
Tide Pod
hurting
challenge.
people,
Yeah, dance. A lot of
like all of
distraction,
this
if
other
you think
stuff
about it.
And but you made a point earlier that I wanted to get back to, and you said that parents need to take these phones out of their hands, right? And I think you're absolutely right. Like, one of the main problems that we have in this country is just parents not raising their children. They're worried about social media apps or the internet or Sexy Red, or like everything is raising kids in this country but the parents.
Yeah.
So I think that the thinkers that I follow, and what's very interesting about this when we talk about this entire social media conversation in general, is that the most powerful people in this country that have made their millions, if not billions, from these apps do not allow their children to be on
watch.
social media. Their children are sent to private schools in which they are completely tech free. So why is it that the children, the wealthy children of the people that invented all of these things, are sent to tech-free education, where we have the children of this country that are going to public school, whatever, are on their phones 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day? It's scary.
I absolutely agree. I've been fighting this thing right here. I've been fighting the phone
Oh, absolutely.
since we had dumb phones. Like,
We're all addicted to it.
My dad is German, and we had like German discipline in the house. So I avoided having a phone until I was like 15, because I knew that was a tool of control from my parents. You know, I didn't want anything to do with a phone. All my friends were doing
Well,
the
because the
app.
second you had one, they could get in
They-
contact
they
with
can
you
get
at
in
any
cut
time.
At any time.
Yeah.
So I will leave the phone at home because I want to do my thing. I was a skater rat kid that would
Yeah.
go around.
Yeah.
I didn't want them to know where I
wanted to be
am,
off
where I
the
was.
grid.
But
Yeah.
there's great solutions to that now, which is something that I've instituted. So I have two kids. I have a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. And for the longest time, the 15-year-old just got his very first cell phone, but it's limited. During the week, he doesn't have it. On the weekend, he has time when he's allowed to have it. But the problem is, I've noticed when he has access to that phone, he'll just do the phone, right? We were cleaning cars last week, and I said, hey, can you go vacuum out the Jeep? He was vacuuming out the Jeep. I walked over. He was on his phone. I went, all right, I'm going to see how long this goes for. Hour and a half goes by. I walk back, still vacuuming the same spot every time I'd walk over. I just kept going. I go, okay, I see you. I know what you're doing. Give me the phone, took it away. You got to be proactive.
Right.
What we had prior to the phone, and it's better than nothing. He had a watch that you could call, and he could make up to 5 phone calls from it. But that was it. It was not like a smart watch where he had games and apps that he could play on. It was literally a watch that was registered through Verizon. I think it was called the Gitmo or Gizmo or Kidmo or something like that. But it was 5 phone numbers that he could store, and anybody could call it if they knew the number, but only he could call out to 5 people. I don't want my kids being addicted to social media. As an adult, right? Everything is when I wake up in the morning, my alarm is what wakes me up. When I get into the shower, I get out of the shower, I turn on my Tesla from my phone, right, to warm up and start defrosting the car. When I get into the car, I plug in where I'm going on the computer screen in my car to drive to an office that I sit in front of a screen for 8 hours. Yeah. Then I get back into the same car that has that screen. I drive home an hour and a half to get home from work, and then I sit in front of a TV and watch TV. I don't want that for my kids.
Love the soft Tesla flex.
I am worth $10 million. That's why I'm here working.
Loving that. So we're retiring together. In the thing, I guess, if we're talking about young people on social media and on their phones and stuff, what is the scariest thing, if I was a parent, which I'm not, is that there's a lot of predators. There are a lot of predators that try to access these kids, these tweens, these young teenagers, like via these apps. And that's a scary thing. But, do I think that this bill is the answer? I don't know. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Bipartisan gives me the heebie-jeebies. I'm like, okay, something's going on here.
We don't want the government to be daddy.
Let's go down line to line.
Yeah.
Let's figure out how are they trying to launder money through taxpayer dollars?
Right.
How are they trying to spy on me? And what is it that how are they trying to sell America out?
If everyone had this frame of reference and asked those 3 questions every time some bill gets put out, this would be such a better country.
But can I share with you what a friend of mine that's a sitting member of Congress told me that I will never forget? This person looked me directly in my eyes and said, "Rob, most people are stupid."
Right.
True.
Well, we know.
And I never forgot it because most people are just dumb.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. You have to keep it simple for the common everyday person.
Yeah.
I'm stupid enough to not be able to fix things and smart enough to be able to notice things. So it's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the majority of this stuff.
I think they should have just done the executive order that Trump had, because the problem is TikTok itself. It's like we don't need to have this whole bill that now allows them to ban any app or website that has foreign control, because they can just prove if it has 51% control in, Ukraine or Italy or any country you can prove, because the owner's actually from there. Now you can just ban that entire website. That's the problem with this bill. The thing should have just been Trump's executive order. And Trump, however, you got to admit he's hypocritical for now, because his reason is a reach. He's saying it's because Facebook will have a monopoly now on the election. But that's not a good reason.
Facebook said that they weren't going to be posted. Facebook says, and what Facebook does, things, but Facebook said they weren't going to be using political content coming into the political cycle or the election.
I will tell you this: the thing about Facebook, I have a massive following on Facebook. I have 520,000 followers there, and you can, as a creator,
at Rob Smith Online, by the way.
No, actually, at Rob Smith BK, it's different. I think Rob Smith Online will redirect you there, but you brought that up with Facebook, so. What's happening is Facebook is a way for creators to make money. You can make money on digital video and upwards of 6 figures, right? Facebook saying that they're going to get out of the politics business in general has really, really, really hurt independent, conservative leaning content creators hardcore. There are people that have staked their entire businesses on that platform in terms of pushing out political content. And Facebook is basically saying, Meta, if we're going to be called out for censoring this stuff, we're just going to be out of it in general,
And what happens, that also spreads to TikTok. What happens to the TikTok creators, the people that have built platforms on TikTok that are not going to be. I have a buddy that has an account on TikTok. It's Freedom on Fire. You should go follow it. It's actually a really good account. But he used it as a funnel system to direct to a news aggregate that he monetizes. Now, all of a sudden, if TikTok's banned, how are you going to get those people to that website?
And at this point right now, I am a center right leaning dude. I've been banned from TikTok for 6 months for a 13-second video just about being a gay conservative. All the little rainbow mafia leftists sort of descended on my account and got it banned. And I have a person that I know that is upwards of I think 1.1 1 million on TikTok, and this person is right leaning, but they do culture from a right leaning perspective. And this person was like, you know what? When I was hardcore in the politics, I got banned too. Then I switched to culture, and he was like, that's the only way. So everything that I do on TikTok right now with my one follower at Real Rob Smith Online, because I like just started it, it's just all culture.
Meanwhile, clips of Osama bin Laden go viral.
Yeah.
Right.
Hitler's speech generated into AI, and now it's English, and people are like, oh, it wasn't so bad. What?
Yeah.
What the